Wrigley Field turned 100 years old yesterday, a great celebration for Chicago. Tom Verducci wrote a great piece on this in Sports Illustrated a couple of years ago about sort of the how Wrigley has changed over the years, and the idea that it's this destination spot that when you visit Chicago in the summer, you got to go to a Cubs game. In 1918, the pennant-winning Cubs drew 4,500 people a game. 4,458 a game they averaged. There was no great thrill in going to Wrigley Field. They didn't top 2 million fans in a season until the great year they had in 1984, when all of a sudden they came out of nowhere and won the National League East. They averaged fewer than 20,000 fans a game from 1953. From 1953 to 1967, they never got 1 million fans. They barely ever averaged 20,000 fans. When I became a serious baseball fan in 1976, 1977, like, nobody thought about Wrigley. It wasn't a special place. The only thing that was special about it is that when you watch the news at 6 o'clock, the Cubs had usually played because everything was during the day if they were home. So that's the only thing that made it even vaguely special, but I'd see Cubs games in 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, the highlights. There was never anybody there. It didn't matter. And then all of a sudden that changed in 1984. The Cubs, as we think of them over the last 31 years, that changed in 1984, and now it's a destination. Cubs are 7-20 at home in the postseason at Wrigley. But you can sit in the bleachers now. Tom Verducci makes these points, so I'm totally plagiarizing here. But, you know, now in 2014, 100 years later, you can sit in the bleachers and watch Anthony Rizzo hit the same way that you would have gone to see Joe Tinker and seen Tinkers to Evers to Chance and Harry Steinfeld at third base and seen the Cubs turn a double play. It's the same spot. You can see where Babe Ruth called his home run shot in the 1932 World Series, whether he did or didn't. That's the same batter's box where Rizzo is right now, and you know, where Ryan Sweeney hits right now from the same side of the plate that Babe Ruth. Ryan Sweeney. So that's what makes it special. And then, as only the Cubs could do, really, I think, completely fittingly, leading 5-2 yesterday in the 100th anniversary of Wrigley Field. They're going to get a win. And then the Cub bullpen, you turn it over to Pedro Strop and James Russell and Justin Grimm, and hey, what do you know? The Diamondbacks put up 5 and won the game 7-5. And Ruggiano out in right field trying to catch, I think it was Aaron Hill's pop fly that ended up being a triple, and Ruggiano hurt himself, and I hope he's okay, but it was a super awkward fall, and he looks like he's hurt, but it was the kind of thing where when you miss a play in embarrassing fashion, you fake an injury. It looked like that. He didn't. He appears to be legitimately hurt, but I've done it in high school. You make a mistake, and then you fake the injury. You pull up lame. If he's not hurt, he sold it massively because he got carried off the field. So I cast no aspersions on him, but man, what a fitting way for the Cubs to celebrate their 100th anniversary, blowing a big lead, having the bullpen give up 5 in the 9th, and lose to the only team that may be in worse shape than the Cubs, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, if anybody's going to fire their manager first, it's likely to be the Diamondbacks.